Greetings. Um, Obviously, what you see before you here is something that took place, at the UN. And I haven't made as much videos lately. Does not mean I haven't been watching. So, just wanted to make that clear. Um, like I said, I'm starting to get back into the swing of things, and again, I've been watching and I've been looking. Um, and the headline out of USA Today, this was from April 22nd, it's now the 25th. It's 175 nations sign historic Paris climate deal on Earth Day. This is very significant, number one, because this is the largest um, signature ceremony, is what they call it, ever, in our modern history. So it's very distinct in that regard. It's also distinct in the regards of the fulfillment of prophecy. Now, if you're under a dispensational form of prophecy, you might not get it. You might not understand it. I'm not trying to come off as saying that those in that sphere don't know anything. But it's just a simple aspect of how you look at Revelation. See, the thing is with the book of Revelations is you can look at chapter 1 and you can find distinguishing marks in chapter 22. And it all boils up to the middle. And the middle of Revelation is like Revelation 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Everything that really has to do with three key, a lot of key components. A beast, a woman, a dragon, these types of things. And if you know the correct definition of the symbology of a beast and a dragon and these types of things, then you'll understand, or you can begin to understand the times that we are living in. Okay? So this is the focus of Revelations that I believe that we should be paying attention to, because this is being fulfilled right in front of our very eyes. And this was, this was a biggie. Now, to the public, this is a climate deal to basically limit greenhouse gases and carbon emissions and these types of things, blah, 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 scientists have been saying a long, long time that this whole thing, this global warming thing, is nothing but a hoax, and I do believe them. So this is not just about saving the planet. This is something a whole lot more. I'm not going to get into all the political mumbo jumbo about it, but I do want to highlight a couple of key points and a couple articles that were mentioned. Okay. Or that I'm going to mention. Now, first off, I want to look at the headline: 175 nations sign historic Paris climate deal. That is practically global. Okay? That is practically global. Why is that global? Well, consider the aspect that there are over 196 countries in the world today. Depending on which source you look at. But most people will agree that it's between 190 and 196 countries. Okay? But there are 196 countries in the world today. 175 of these countries signed this climate deal. So this is practically the better part, for the most part, the whole world. Okay? So this was a global signing event. I'm not going to read the whole article, but I'm just going to go over a couple highlights. Okay? World leaders from 175 countries signed the historic Paris Climate Accord Friday, using Earth Day as a backdrop for the ceremonial inking of a long-fought deal that aims to slow the rise of harmful greenhouse gases. And UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon told the gathering of the United Nations headquarters in New York that we are in a race against time. Okay? Now, I'm sure you probably heard this from politicians over and over again that are all for this global warming, saving the planet from global warming. We're in a race against time. Da, 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 da. And so you probably heard that all before, but I think that little statement means a little more in this regard, simply for the fact of how big this signing is. And I'll get to that in just a moment. I'm going to go over some scriptures that kind of might make your hair stand on end a little bit, just to see how close we could really be to something prominent. 2017 is supposed to be a big year. We had the Jubilee Year of Mercy that kicked off, which is going to end sometime in December, if I'm not mistaken. And 2017 is really the year of Jubilees. There is 50 and 100-year anniversaries of a lot of things. You have the 500-year anniversary of the pinning of the 95 Theses at the Wittenberg door for the Reformation. You have a 50-year anniversary of there's like a certain charismatic type situation going on. So you have a jubilee in that regard. For Islam and the Muslims, which is in accordance with the Catholic Church, you have the 100-year anniversary of the Vision of Fatima. Okay. And I've done reports of that in the past, and I might go over a couple of those again as a refresher. So you have a lot of interesting things coming in 2017. Now, this isn't date setting. I'm not saying that the world's going to end in 2017. I'm not saying Jesus is coming back in 2017. But what I am saying is this is probably one of the biggest steps that I have seen in regards to a couple scriptures I am going to show you. We are in a race against time, UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon told the gathering at the United Nations headquarters in New York. Quote, the era of consumption without consequences is over. Now, what strikes me, especially with this signing event, Revelation 12:12 states that, therefore, rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. That's the reason why I think that statement, even though it's been spouted over and over again, in this scenario, means a lot. Because we're talking about a global scale here. We're talking worldwide. All right. Now, then he goes on to say, the poor and the most vulnerable must not suffer further from a problem they did not create. Okay, now, if you can read between the lines of this, basically, this isn't about bringing the poor up to standards. Okay? This is about lowering everybody else so as to make it seem the poor is up to standards. And therefore, by lowering everybody else, it is easier for them to control. It is easier for the kings of the earth, the church, those that follow her, the kings of the earth, and these types of things. It is easier for them to control. So that really is a nice little significant statement right there as well. Okay, and then Ban Ki-moon also said, because the U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry signed the document while holding his young granddaughter. Nice little cute gesture there. Kind of nice how they always use the children for certain things like this. She was one of 197 children at the event who represent the parties that adopted the agreement, Bond said. These young people are our future. Our covenant is with them. Okay, so this is a covenant now. Okay, this is also considered a covenant, a pact. So this is something they signed on to. This is something they're going to ratify, and it's going to be put into action. When? I don't know. A lot of stipulations on this that actions and certain things could be put into motion as far as the end of this year is, from what I've been hearing. Now, a couple of things that Ban Ki-moon said, which was not listed on USA Today. Is also very interesting. This is out of BBC. This is roughly the same context. Nations sign historic Paris climate deal. Some 171 countries inked the deal today. Record number for a new international treaty. Like I said, this has not been done before. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon said Paris will shape the lives of all future generations in a profound way, because in Paris they had all the nations of the earth gathered into this conference where they discussed these 17 sustainable development goals. And here at the UN, this was the signing to ratify and to perform upon these goals. Now, what's unique about this is these signatures basically symbolize that each country is going to have certain things that they're going to do, and they are to report once a year to whoever is in charge of this document, basically, essentially. So he goes on to say it is their future that is at stake. And speaking at the opening ceremony, he said the planet was experiencing record temperatures. See, this is the propaganda, okay? This is way beyond record temperatures, global warming. We are in a race against time. I urge all countries to join the agreement at the national level. Also, what this signifies with the overwhelming signatures that have appeared on this is going to be made international law as well. Okay, so you can bank on that as well. I mean, this is going to happen. He also said today we are signing a new covenant for the future. Again, there we go with that word covenant. Now, I want to take you to something very interesting here. Okay? I'm not going in order in Revelation 17. You know, I'm putting them all over the place because there are certain things that I want you to look at here. In Revelation 17:3, it says, "So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns." So this woman is sitting on a scarlet-colored beast. Okay? We don't have to speculate. We don't have to speculate what this scarlet-colored beast is. A lot of people like to say it's the same beast as in Revelation 13. I kind of disagree with that. I actually think the woman is actually the beast that is in Revelation 13. Okay? This scarlet-colored beast, Revelation 17:15 spells it out for you. Okay? Why? I'll tell you. "And he saith unto me, The waters which thou sawest, where the horse sitteth," and by the way, this word here and this word here is the same exact Greek word in your concordance. You can look it up yourself. It is the same word. So, really, God is basically telling you what this beast is. So you can basically say that this scarlet-colored beast, where the horse sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. Okay, this is for our time, right here. Alright? This word and this word are exactly the same. All you got to do is look at Revelation 17:3, jump down to Revelation 17:15, and you will have your answer. And also, the scarlet beast is full of names of blasphemy. So, not only does the scarlet beast represent peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues, nations, keyword, countries, or states, but these states are full of names of blasphemy. Now, blasphemy has a distinct religious title to it. What are also these nations of this world kind of combating against? Fundamentalism. Religious fundamentalism. You've seen religion and politics intermingle more so than you've had in the past, I don't know how many years. Especially in the last couple of years alone. With statements from Clinton and everybody. I mean, politics and religion are very, very, very well yoked together. So you are going to see blasphemy protruding out of the state, protruding out of the people, the multitudes and the nations and tongues, the kings of the earth. Okay? Again, this scarlet-colored beast are the peoples, multitudes, and nations and tongues. This scarlet-colored beast is the waters that John sees, because the waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth is the whore and the woman are the one and the same. I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet beast. This scarlet beast is the waters, and this scarlet-colored beast is the peoples, multitudes, and nations and tongues. There's 10 crowns, so there's 10 kings. Also included are the kings of the earth and these types of things. And they all give their power unto the beast. Or essentially the woman here in this context. Okay? Now, moving on. I want you to pay attention here. So here we have 175 nations, and what's very unique about this is I wanted to type in Israel in regard to this, simply because I wanted to prove a point. Okay. And the point is this. Here we have Abbas says settlements destroying the environment. Blah, blah, blah. This whole thing with the Israeli settlements in West Bank destroying environment. Abbas to UN. And the whole thing about the Christians being so pro-Israel and this stuff with Palestine and Muslims and this kind of charade. I want you to pay very close attention to this. Now, there is one unique party that was not a member of the signees. There's one unique party that's not really technically a member of the UN, but yet they are behind the scenes in control of everything going on. And that is, all roads lead to Rome, essentially. And so how can you be a member of something if you're the head of it, if you are in control? Therefore, what does that mean? All the nations that have signed unto this agreement are under her control. Right? So, Palestine signed it. Abbas says settlements destroying the environment. You see this Palestine and Israel propaganda going on. And I just want to point you to another little piece of information here. So I'm kind of going in depth with this video. Kind of moving pretty fast. So I do apologize for that. But I'm going to stick on this for a little while. Sustainable Development Goals. 17 goals to transform our world. Okay, so list of parties that have indicated their intentions to sign the Paris Agreement. United Nations Paris Climate Agreement signing ceremony, April 22nd, 2016, which was Earth Day, by the way. And it states information as of April 22nd, 2016. Now, this is an official UN document. The Paris Agreement will be open for signature by the parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on 22nd of April and will remain open for signature for 1 year. This list only contains information about states that will participate in the signing ceremony on April 22nd and is subject to state change. One asterisk marks that states that have indicated that they intend to sign the party agreement at the ceremony for the opening for signature on April 22nd, 2016. This information is subject to change. A definitive list of states that have signed the agreement will only be made available following the ceremony. Okay. And I'm going to be searching for that list. But we're going to look at the states, well, one particular state that is intended on signing this document. So we're going to go all the way down, and boop, there it is, Israel. And let's go all the way down. And then you see every single one of these nations was intended to sign it or have signed it. And it's kind of interesting that even though Abbas made some very remarkable statements at this UN signing ceremony, I can kind of throw them in there too. I would have to say that they signed it, even though their name is not mentioned in this list. But here is Israel that has signed on to it. So they are in league with the whore whom the kings of the earth commit fornication with. Because this beast represents the multitudes, the nations, tongues, and these types of things. So again, they are just as much in lockstep as with all these other nations. I wanted to point that out. Now, again, 175 nations signed. I want you to take a look at this here. As of January 13th, 2015, this is CatholicCulture.org, Holy See now has diplomatic relations with 180 nations. I'm not going to just sit there and say diplomatic relations. I'm going to basically say that the Holy See now has diplomatic control with 180 nations, because that's exactly what it is. The Holy See now has diplomatic relations with 180 states, as well as with the European Union and Sovereign Military Order of Malta, according to a note from the Holy See press office. The Holy See also maintains a mission with the state of Palestine. 83 of these states and other entities have an embassy at Rome. During 2014, the Holy See signed or revised accords with Cameroon, Malta, and Serbia. Okay, so again, the Holy See basically has diplomatic relations, or you can throw in the word control there, with the whole world. 180 nations. Okay? So don't pay attention to the public the public mainstream focus that the church has nothing to do with this. They very well have a lot to do with everything that's going on, and including this whole climate ordeal. Okay. But again, Ban Ki-moon basically made that very unique statement. Today we are signing a new covenant for the future. And we are in a race against time. That screams Revelation 12:12. And again, Revelation 17:3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. The woman sits upon a scarlet-colored beast. The scarlet-colored beast is the same thing as the waters. Okay? The waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. Scroll down here. A covenant. This is out of the Webster's Dictionary. Means a coming together, a meeting or agreement of minds, a mutual consent or agreement of 2 or more persons to do or to forbear come act or thing, a contract, stipulation. A covenant is created by deed in writing, sealed, and executed, or it may be implied in the contract. And it's a writing containing the terms of agreement or contract between parties, or the clause of agreement in a deed containing the covenant. Essentially what... So this is basically... this is it. You have essentially, and more nations are going to be signing on to this. So, again, essentially, you basically have the whole world that's signed on to this covenant. That's it. Now, I stated in a video just recently that, yeah, this prophecy pertains to, this prophecy mainly pertains to, the sins of the people of Jerusalem and these types of things, and you can kind of read 70 AD in this, but you also got to bear in mind that we are part of a heavenly city, Jerusalem, and so us being part of the heavenly city, Jerusalem, or kingdom of heaven, whichever one you want to call it, we are here on this earth now, so therefore this can also apply to our time, because while we are living in this world, there are those around us that signed a specific covenant, but this covenant is going to lead to death. That's what it is. So, this is a very interesting passage in Isaiah 28, 14 through 16, where it says, "Wherefore hear the word of the Lord, ye scornful men that rule this people, which is in Jerusalem." Okay? These people have rule over us, okay? Kingly rule, all right? You've heard it on conspiracy shows and stuff like that. We are all slaves, right? Well, we are we are held captive in this Babylonian world, essentially. "Wherefore bear the word of the Lord, ye scornful men that rule this people which is in Jerusalem. Because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell we are at agreement. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us, for we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehoods have we hid ourselves. Therefore thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I lay in Zion for a foundation, a stone, a tried stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation. He that believeth shall not make haste." And obviously, when you look at the typological aspect of Isaiah 28:16, this is pointing to Jesus Christ, who is the precious corner, tried stone, foundation in Zion. So, but this covenant was a covenant with death. Now, obviously, in Matthew 22:32, it says, "I am the God of Abraham, and the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob." God is not the God of the dead, but of the living. So here we have this whole world coming together who have made this covenant, and we know this covenant is worldly, it's not godly. Friendship with the world is enmity with God. This is definitely a friendly gathering of the world that made this covenant. Okay, so what exactly is this covenant? It's a covenant of death. That's exactly what this is, and this is exactly what it's going to be. So it seems like there could be a very interesting timeline that's going to be happening here soon. I'm not going to say it's a biblical timeline, 3.5 years, but the point is that stages are now being set at an extreme measure now. And we are getting close. But probably been hearing that for a long time now, but we are getting close, and this is huge. This is huge. Because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we at agreement, when the overflowing scourge shall pass through. It passed through with the judgment of Jerusalem in 70 AD, and it's going to pass through this whole world. At his coming. And what's very unique, these kings of the earth, that is that the woman has under her control, God is going to use those people to turn on her. And that is going to ultimately be her design, her demise, essentially. Revelation 17:16 and 17. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. For God hath put it in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled. So who's in control here? Ultimately, it's God. Okay, let me read that again. God hath put it in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled. So this is essentially saying God is based because Satan gave the beast his power and great authority. This is Satan. This because it said earlier, woe to the inhabitants of the earth, for Satan has come down to you, knowing he hath but a short time. God is going to allow him to say, go ahead. But it's not going to last that long. Again, for God hath put it in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled. See why this is such a huge signing deal, climate deal, I mean, whatever the media wants to call it. But it's something much more. And just like he used Pharaoh, just like he used kings in the past, Nebuchadnezzar, Cyrus, he's going to use these kings today. Ain't nothing new under the sun, folks. All you got to do is look how God used these kings to fulfill his will in the past. And it's nothing new under the sun. It's going to be the same thing. Basically, he's going to be using these kings to basically, hopefully, wake some people up to the realization of how evil this whole system is, and how evil, essentially, sin is, and that you need to come out of it. So again, if God hath put it in their hearts to fulfill his will, I really want this verse to sink in. And give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled. So this world is not going to belong to God, it's going to belong to the beast, and that's his will that it happens that way. And those that want to go along with it, those that are in agreement with it, knowingly or unknowingly, just by deeds and actions, it's going to be for a very short time. And essentially, the UN Secretary General just uttered words right out of the book of Revelation. He said the planet was experiencing record temperatures. We are in a race against time. And again, I have to scroll back up and remind you that in Revelation 12:12, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell on the earth. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. This actually encompasses the whole world. The inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. This is all symbolism here. Sea is multitudes, nations, peoples, and tongues. Very populated area. The earth is a very unpopulated area. And when you think about the rise of the United States, at the time that it rose, it wasn't that populated. It wasn't a very densely populated area when when the New World, quote unquote, was founded. So, woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil has come down to you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So let that be a reminder to us that there's I there's not much time left. There is not that much time left. So take this as it what as take this however you want to take it, but it's definitely a lot bigger than something to do with the climate. So, and again, I will be staying on top of this. Um, there's a couple other things I want to cover, but this is a biggie, and all the links and descriptions will be posted below. And thank you for listening. Truth be told, truth be known. Stay safe. God bless. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.